What's up, Mavericks? So you're setting up Stripe for your business and everything's going great. You're cruising through the sign-up process, feeling pretty good about yourself, and then Stripe hits you with it. They want your social security number or your EIN. And that's when the alarm bells start going off in your head, right? Why do they need that? Is it even safe? Are you really about to hand over this sensitive information to a payment processor you just found out about 5 minutes ago? Those are completely fair questions, and honestly, you should be asking them. So today I'm gonna break it all down and talk about how Stripe actually handles security, why they legally need your SSN or EIN, and what's really happening behind the scenes when you give them that information without including any scary jargon and vague corporate speak. So let's dive right in. Before we get into the security stuff, let's take a step back. Stripe is a payment processing platform that lets businesses accept credit cards, debit cards, and digital payments online. It powers checkout for everything from solo creators and SaaS startups to massive global companies. But when you use Stripe, you're not just slapping a buy now button on your website. You're plugging into a financial infrastructure that moves actual money, verifies identities, detects fraud, and follows banking regulations in dozens of countries around the world. And because Stripe sits right in the middle of real money moving between real people, security isn't just a nice to have feature, it's the foundation of the entire platform. Now that you know what Stripe is about, let's answer the big question head on. Yes, Stripe is safe. In fact, it's considered one of the most secure payment processors out there. Stripe uses industry standard encryption, advanced fraud detection powered by machine learning, and strict compliance protocols to protect both businesses and customers. Sensitive data gets encrypted and tokenized, which means your customers' actual card numbers aren't just floating around in plain text somewhere. Stripe is also PCI DSS Level 1 compliant, which is the highest level of security certification in the payments industry. That's the same tier used by major banks and enterprise payment platforms. So we're not talking about pretty secure or secure enough. Stripe is built to meet the same security standards required by large financial institutions. This is exactly why Stripe is trusted by startups, enterprises, and regulated businesses worldwide. Now let's talk about the part that makes everyone nervous, giving out your social security number. Stripe asks for your social security number or EIN because they're legally required to verify who you are. Stripe operates as a payment processor, and because of that, they have to comply with financial regulations like Know Your Customer, also called KYC, and anti-money laundering laws. In plain English, Stripe needs to confirm that you're a real person or a legitimate business, not a fake entity set up to launder money or commit fraud. If you're a sole proprietor, that usually means providing an SSN. If you're a registered business, that's typically an EIN. Stripe may also re-verify your identity later as your business grows, processes more volume, or changes how it operates, which is normal and part of ongoing compliance. Now, this isn't Stripe being nosy or overstepping, it's Stripe following federal regulations that apply to all legitimate payment processors. And honestly, if a payment platform doesn't ask you to verify your identity before moving money around, that's actually the bigger red flag. Just as important as why Stripe collects your information is how they protect it. Stripe encrypts sensitive personal and financial data both in transit and at rest. That means your information is protected while it's being sent and while it's being stored. Access to sensitive data is tightly restricted, monitored, and audited. Stripe also runs ongoing security testing and maintains strict internal controls to reduce the risk of breaches. Stripe isn't selling your SSN or personal data to advertisers or unrelated third parties. It's used strictly for identity verification, compliance, and tax reporting obligations like issuing 1099 forms if required. So while handling oversensitive info never feels great, and it shouldn't, Stripe is handling it in the same way a regulated financial institution would. And security doesn't stop once your account gets approved. Stripe continuously monitors transactions for suspicious activity using machine learning and behavioral signals. That includes detecting unusual purchase patterns, failed payment attempts, and potential card testing attacks. Stripe also offers built-in tools to help businesses manage fraud risk, things like customizable rules and optional advanced fraud prevention features through Stripe Radar. So instead of you having to manually police every single transaction, Stripe is actively watching for problems in the background, adapting to new fraud patterns in real time. That's a huge reason why Stripe works so well for online businesses that operate at scale. Even though Stripe is secure, it's not the best fit for every business. So who should actually be using Stripe? Stripe is a great fit if you run an online or software-based business, sell products or services digitally, need a processor that can scale with your growth, or you want strong built-in security without having to manage it all yourself. Now, where people sometimes run into problems is when they expect Stripe to behave like a traditional bank. Stripe is a payment processor, not a bank. That means account freezes or fund holds can happen if your account activity looks risky or if you provide incomplete information during setup. That's not unique to Stripe, but it is something to be aware of. The safest, smoothest experience comes from keeping your account information accurate, transparent, and compliant from day one. So here's the bottom line. Stripe is safe, it's secure, and it's trusted by millions of businesses around the world for a reason. They ask for your SSN or EIN not because they want it, but because they're legally required to verify identities and protect the integrity of the financial system as a whole. And look, at the end of the day, security is only as strong as the trust you place in the tools you use. Stripe has earned that trust by building one of the most robust, transparent payment platforms in the game. If you're running an online business and you want a powerful, scalable payment platform with enterprise-level security built in, Stripe is one of the strongest options out there. To get started with Stripe, click the link in our description. I'll see you in the next video, Mavericks.